Greetings, Kindred. I am voivodemekhet, and welcome back to our World of Darkness and another look into the Mind's Eye Theater Laws of the Night for Vampire the Masquerade, Chapter 4. And today we are going to be talking about health and damage. For the most part, we're going to be going over the various things that can destroy your character physically or injure them in some fashion. But we're also going to be going over death and torpor and the various effects that can happen. We're going to be looking at a couple of charts and also thinking about willpower and how the mechanics of health and willpower work on a character. First and foremost, let's talk about how the health and damage works on a character. Characters have a number of health levels equal to their stamina plus 3. So all of your characters, for the most part, will have different health levels. Now, there are other things that can take into effect in this, such as the fortitude discipline, which could, in fact, increase your health. When a character is dealt damage from an attack, they fill in one health level of damage as the damage is taken. When the character has a damage in their last 3 health levels, they are deemed to be injured. Injured characters suffer from wound penalties, which cause them to lose their simple action every turn until they no longer have any damage in those last 3 levels. So, where your character typically gets 2 actions in a round, a standard and a simple, the first thing that's going to happen to your character is when they hit their last 3 health levels, they lose their simple action. So they basically become physically damaged to the point where it's harder for them to move and do things. When a character has no health levels remaining, they then risk falling unconscious. When a character must allocate damage and they have no health levels left, the character is dead. Or, in the case of a vampire, in Torpor. These damage rules pretty much follow the same for everything that's going to be in the World of Darkness. There are going to be things that are going to change things around or add complications, but these are the basics of mechanics when it comes to health. So you can tell by the graphic that we put up on the screen that there are some effects that are going to be there. And these basically talk about the different damage and the different effects caused by how many health levels that your character has. More than 3 remaining, none. No effect, you're absolutely fine. 3 or fewer remaining, wound penalties. You lose your simple action every round. And then 0 health levels remaining, any additional damage results in torpor or final death. Within the World of Darkness, Mind's Eye Theater, there are 2 types of damage. And those are going to be normal damage, which comes from attacks such as slashing, piercing, or bashing on your opponent. Unless otherwise noted, all damage is assumed to be a normal type of damage. But then there's also aggravated damage, which comes from supernatural sources, including banes. Now, I'm not talking about your character's specific clan banes. I mean the banes of being a creature of the World of Darkness. For vampires, fire and sunlight are going to be your banes. Werewolves, when that comes out, you're probably looking at like silver and things like that. Iron for Fae. But when a character is hit by a magical source or a bane to which they are particularly vulnerable, they suffer aggravated damage. When assigning aggravated damage to your health levels, you mark it differently than with normal damage. Basically, what you want to do, the way that we handle things in tabletop, is you make a single slash mark for normal damage, or you do an X for aggravated damage because it is harder to heal from. There are various sources of damage, not just getting hit by things, such as falling damage. Characters take 1 point of normal damage for every 10 feet or 1 story that they fall. A character falls 5 feet per combat turn, unless slowed by a parachute or something similar. This is something to take in consideration when fighting is occurring on like a roof of a very tall building. If you're falling 10 stories, that is going to take 2 rounds of combat to compensate for. That way, people can actually think about ways of saving themselves or saving their people, and it also keeps things more timely when you look at that. So if a person does fall, they don't take damage until they actually hit the ground. So that's when all of that damage is going to hit at one point in time for falling. Losing consciousness. When a living character has all of their health full of damage, they fall unconscious and may die. It is possible to revive an unconscious character using the medical skill by succeeding in a static challenge using a test pool of intelligence plus medicine versus a difficulty of 5. 10 if proper medical equipment is not available. Succeeding in this challenge doesn't heal any damage that has been taken. A living character who has been revived from unconsciousness has only their simple action available to them until they heal 1 damage. Supernatural creatures such as vampires, werewolves, and changelings cannot be knocked unconscious. At the storyteller's discretion, enhanced human hunters are also immune to being knocked out. Death. Living characters die as soon as they must allocate damage to an empty health level and no longer have one remaining. A living creature who has been knocked unconscious from damage, having all of their health levels filled in, will die in 5 turns unless they are treated by a character with the medicine skill. Basically, the big thing that you need to learn from this is mortal characters, ghouls and otherwise, are squishy and die easy. I have seen a lot of people who have been kind of upset about this because they're playing human, but this is a game about supernatural intrigue and combat, and when that kind of thing happens and humans get involved, they die easier than vampires. That is just a fact, and humans die pretty easy. That's basically it. Anything that would typically cause a human to die is going to cause a vampire to go into torpor instead, where they could be revived later with assistance, or time and healing. Torpor and damage. Vampires are more difficult to destroy. When a vampire must allocate damage, aggravated or normal, to an empty health level, and they no longer have one, they fall into torpor. To permanently destroy a vampire, they must be in torpor, then the head must be decapitated, or the entire body destroyed. That is something that I would like to actually push on there. The last level of damage that is aggravated does not instantly kill a vampire. It will put you into torpor. Any aggravated damage past that point will kill a vampire. To destroy a vampire's torpid body, without decapitating them, they must expose them to fire or sunlight for 1 turn. Other suitable destructive forces, such as acid, the crushing power of a junkyard car compactor, can destroy a torpid vampire if the vampire is subjected to their damaging forces for 3 turns. These turns do not have to happen consecutively, but must all happen within 10 minutes. A vampire that is destroyed leaves behind mortal remains that appear as old as their true age. Most vampires leave behind desiccated skeletons, unless they are very old. Vampires older than 500 years turn to ash. Vampires younger than a year leave behind a decomposing corpse. If a vampire has a limb cut off, the missing piece will return to its true age and expected appearance based on the vampire's age. I really like the fact that this book goes into that, because that's always been like, what happens to a vampire when they die? I have personally always said that they return to basically their true age, but in decomposition. I don't know. It's always been interesting. I've seen some storytellers run it so that, like, if a vampire dies, they leave a body. If a vampire dies, they turn to ash. But having it actually pointed out here in the book kind of makes me feel a little bit better about things. Healing. Mortals heal at a rate of 1 level of normal damage per day, except for injuries in their injured track. Those injuries heal at a rate of 1 health level per week. Aggravated damage heals at a rate of 1 per week. Treating a living character with intelligence plus medicine versus a difficulty of 4 cuts these times in half. Medical treatment does not work on vampires, and vampires do not heal naturally. Willpower. Characters have a starting willpower score equal to their composure plus their resolve. Willpower represents the character's confidence, determination, and drive. As with health levels, certain effects will remove the character's willpower. When a character reaches 0 willpower, they gain the impaired condition until they rest. Once a character has rested for 6 hours, they regain all of their willpower. Now, that is something to take in also, is that I had said before with health levels that it is your stamina plus 3 is your health levels, which means if you buy more stamina, your health goes up. If you buy more composure or resolve, your willpower goes up. In earlier systems, you used to have to buy your willpower separately, and it was massively expensive. But now, your willpower is judged by other things that you buy, which can still be expensive, but at least they tend to handle different things. Since we're talking about attributes, attributes tend to just jump all over the place in their usefulness. Health, in earlier editions, you were pretty much screwed. You had the health that you had, and that was it. Also, most vampires had the same health. Now it is based on your stamina. So not only can you improve, but it also has a fluctuation of what characters have what. And that is it. That is all you need to know about the standard mechanics for health, willpower, and damage taking. But we're going to go ahead and wrap this up here. This is pretty simple. I would like to know what you guys think in the comments. Please drop a like if you felt this video useful, and share it if you think it could help other people who are either players or storytellers that you think need to have a little bit more information on this. Considering the fact that the book is not out, this is a good place to get that basic information, and having the ability to go over it it's just helpful in my opinion. Anyway, not to mention I'll be using this to help me remind myself as I storytell over certain things. These videos also, when they go over many details like this, do have in the description timestamps. So you don't have to watch through the entire thing to get the information that you need. I am voivodemekhet. Thank you for joining me in Mind's Eye Theater's Vampire the Masquerade Laws of the Night. These are rules for live action roleplay, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Good evening.